Hi, this is Jen Jensen from Frosting and Glaze, and I am going to show you a really quick sugar cookie. This is a sugar cookie with rainbow sprinkles, or if you want to make it seasonal, you can do any type of sprinkles. I have here some red, green, and white jimmies for Christmas. And then I have some blue, white, and silver ones from my Jewish friends. And then I have just rainbow sprinkles in case that's what you're feeling. And I'm going to show you, this is the easiest cookie recipe ever. They taste so good, and your friends are going to be really impressed with you. Okay, ready to go? I washed my hands. I put my hair up, because nobody wants a hairy cookie, not even your husband or your wife or your spouse or your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your children, okay? Hairy cookies, so put the hair back or in a bandana, something. Make sure you wash your hands for these cookies because we're gonna be using our hands, and make sure you have your ingredients out. There's only a couple, so it's really easy. Second thing, is we're going to turn on the oven to 350 degrees. Check. Now we're going to get going. You have 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. Put that into the flour. 1/4 teaspoon salt into the flour. Take a fork, or if you're very fancy, you can use a whisk, and just whisk it up. That's it. Done, right? The next thing you're going to do is 1/2 cup of butter. That's 1 stick of butter. I'm using a KitchenAid. You could use hand mixer. You could do this by hand. So you want room temperature butter, 1/2 cup. I put that into the KitchenAid. Then 3/4 cup sugar. That goes in with my butter. I close up the KitchenAid. I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to cream that together. That's until it becomes one consistency. It's all blended well. Okay, that's what creamed is. Okay. So when you cream together your sugar and your butter, you should have a nice smooth consistency. You don't want any big lumps of butter in there. So it's all nice and creamy together. Then this is the easy part. So we're going to break 1 egg, 1 large egg. If that's not comfortable for you to break it right into the mixing bowl, then break it into a little bowl and then pour it in. And then that way, if you get any shells in the little bowl, you can pick them out. And eggs don't really like to mix too well at first. So what I'm going to suggest is go ahead and add the vanilla. You can use 1.5 teaspoons vanilla extract, or you could use vanilla bean paste. This is vanilla bean paste. It's got like a molasses texture or a honey texture, syrupy texture. It's also got the little beans in it. You can see the little seeds from the pods. This is really a good this is really good to use if you don't want to add any moisture to a recipe you have. Also, if you want to show off that you're using real vanilla, because then in your item, your product, you'll be able to see the vanilla bean seeds, and people will think, ooh, she must really like us if she uses real vanilla. That's what you were thinking, right? So if you see that's mixing nicely, what I'm going to quickly do is open up my mixer. And I'm going to just scrape down to the bottom and make sure that there's no like clumps of the butter sugar just hanging out. I want it all to be mixed. And then on my Also on my paddle here, I want to make sure that there's no clumps of white butter. Okay. There you go, and then just start that again on low, and then you're going to add your flour mixture nice and slow. If you do it too fast all at once, you're going to get a big face full of flour. So just nice and slow. There you go. Going to let it mix it up. It's going to look really dry. And then it's going to come together. Once it all comes together like that, I want you to open it up, scrape again real quick. When you're scraping, you want to get like the flour off the sides of the bowl, but you also want to make sure that you're getting down into the bottom of the bowl. Okay, that's important. And then make sure there's no nothing on the paddle that looks like it hasn't been mixed in. And then I'm going to close it up again. Hold on. Get it all in there because it's all good. And then mix again real quick and you're done. And this is what you have. This is it's not too sticky. It's a little bit dry. If you look closely, I don't know if you could see, but you can see the little bean pods in there. So these are now officially fancy cookies. Okay, so you got your dough finished. And what I'm going to do is it's fairly dry. It's not crumbly or cracky. It's just easy to handle. So I'm going to take and just make round balls. These are approximately what, 1.5 inches big. Oh, my oven's ready. And I want to try to make the exact same size. Why are we making the same size? Because if you have all different sizes on the same tray, they will all cook differently. And we rainbow sprinkles, just gently pop it in your sprinkle hole and put it on the tray. Here's blue and the silver, and if they're not sticking so good, you got to put a little bit more pressure on them. Okay, isn't that pretty? Now the last step is just a hand on top and slightly smush them. A hand on top, slightly smush them. Smush, smush, smush. They're not flattened. See? It's not flattened. It's smushed. Give these some room. They'll expand a little bit more than this. And you want to do it like flat, or else you're going to have fingerprints in the cookies, like finger ridges. You don't want that, really. I mean, maybe you do, but I don't know. And into the oven at 350. I put them in for 5 minutes, then I turn the tray around, and I put them in for another 5 or 6 minutes. It depends on how hot your oven runs. Then I will leave them on the tray to cool. These just came out of the oven. They were 5 minutes, and then I turned them, rotated the tray in another 5 minutes. You can see the difference in the size from, this is before baked, after baked. So that's about as good as they get. When you take them out, you're going to see, if you look closely, that they're kind of set, and that's good enough for me. I need this to cool all the way down. If you were to wait only like 5 minutes and then start eating them, your centers are going to be a little raw. That's why I say to, you know, leave them on the pan to completely cool. Then they'll continue cooking a little bit. That's what I want them to do. Your other option is you could leave it in the oven for another 2 minutes. You just don't want to leave these in too long because then you'll lose the chewiness of them. They are so delicious if you cook them like this and then you let them cool down. So I'm going to put these last ones in the oven, and ooh, they're so yummy.